all I've seen over the past couple of weeks is people telling me Nikke is such a good gacha game. You gotta play Nikke. The Nikke music is insane. Nikke is not just a Guna game, it's a great story. So when I saw this video come up, I did have to question, why is Nikke such a massive success? Is it not just a Guna game? Because the marketing of that game would tell me otherwise. This is another video by Psyche, so let's have a look.
Why is Nikke a massive success?
Good question.
With only one previous major project under their belt, Shift Up is a Korean game studio that rose from the shadows to great heights.
This might be crazy. I actually didn't know Nikke was a Korean gacha game.
Previously a relatively unknown team, now competing with the likes of Hoyoverse games, and even at its peak,
I don't take a look at the gacha revenue reports that often, but god, I mean, this is 2023. Is this where the game came out? But either way, I did not expect it to be up in the top 3.
surpassing Honkai Star Rail's monthly revenue.
That's kind of crazy,
The question
dude.
is, what exactly went right? Let's take a look beyond the eye
Well, what... I can see two things that went right.
candy, beyond the exhilarating one-handed gameplay, and find out why this game, for seemingly degenerates, is able to compete
Jesus.
toe-to-toe with the highest-grossing gacha games on the market.
Bro, this video is about to get demonetized. What?
My name is Psyche, and today let's find out.
All right, let's take a look at Psyche. I really like Psyche's videos. I do have to put that out there. I think he covers things really in depth and in such a clear and concise way.
From the perspective of outsiders, you may think Nikke looks like your typical harem waifu collection sim.
I am an outsider, and yes, it does.
And while that's mostly the case, there's actually a pretty good game underneath. Let's start from the beginning. How was the game initially marketed? Well, after some time in early access, the game launched on November 4th, 2022. During its first month, according to Pocket Gamer, the game grossed a total of $70 million. For a new IP by relatively...
That is absolutely insane. I'm pretty certain, please, the video is probably going to correct me here, but I'm pretty certain the biggest marketing strategy that was used for Nikke was like the Guna elements. Am I crazy? I didn't know Nikke apparently had a good story.
unknown studio, this amount puts it on the same level as Genshin, which is not bad at all. So how did they market the game to get this much success?
It's not
at
bad,
launch?
it's great.
Well, the way they did it was interesting. It's very clear at first glance that it's not even trying to hide its heavy focus on fan service, to the point where you wonder if they were self-aware. There were memes spawning about...
Of course they knew exactly what they were doing.
This concept.
I'm coming.
You got popular online influencers checking it out.
So yeah, I mean,
This
if they
skin
want to
is
sponsor me
insane.
to play that game, I'd rather get paid than do it for free, but even then I might still do it.
There was an ad for the Thai audience that was promptly taken down for being...
This is insanity, dude. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I've got like, bro, I've deadass got like secondhand embarrassment.
too, on the nose. They said the player base complained since they thought it was too rude to portray a fan of the game like this. But to be honest, many would agree that taking down the ad was a travesty and that the game was perfectly self-aware of who its audience is and is not afraid to show it.
I think the thing is, the game is self-aware of who the audience is. The audience is not self-aware, right?
Please don't let me down.
Oh my...
Anyways, despite all that, it got
Bro, that got recoil, and I ain't just talking about the guns.
the ball rolling. It got people talking about it. I took a look and tried it out as the sexual innuendos were so ridiculous that I just had to see the game that everyone was talking about.
Yep.
It had a strong player base right off the bat. But just because it's successful at launch, it doesn't mean much if the game dies off soon after.
True.
The next step is to use the money to make the game better and retain players. Now before I continue,
I wonder if they've done that outside of skins, because I do know they bring out some insane skins, but obviously that is also appealing to the Guna elements. But yeah, I mean, hey, the devs did do a great job of creating a strong player base, at least one-sided strong, right? Because, I mean, one hand's doing all the work here.
I do want to clear up a misconception that you may have heard if you never played it.
Okay.
Is that the game is only selling because of its sexual themes. This is false.
Okay.
Plenty of gacha games fail because gameplay or another aspect of it doesn't hold up. It's
You know
a
what?
gacha
That's
game.
true.
You still have to make the game portion of it. I'll save this topic for a future video, but just making attractive characters is not going to work.
That is very
You
fair.
still need a good game beside it. Many longtime players will say that it's the many other elements of the game that keeps them playing. It's either the lore, the story, the gameplay, and so on. which is what we'll talk about next.
Yeah, I mean, it's like for Genshin, for me, the main reason I'm still playing is the story. The gameplay for me is just, it's gone down a few pegs since I started playing the game. Quite a few pegs. Wuwa, I mainly play for the story, but also the combat. So yeah, I totally understand that kind of mindset there.
So what did they do to retain players? Well, one of the first was that even at launch, they already had a lot of quality of life features like deploy all for the daily expeditions,
Nice.
quick battling to save time, and fairly generous rewards. The story was also off to a good start. There wasn't too much blocking your progression until a bit later. And what's unique about games at launch is that no one is at the end game yet. So
The gameplay actually looks pretty fun, I will say. Do you have to hit weak spots?
no one can really attest whether or not the game becomes too grindy or not. The generous gacha rates is another aspect that, alongside ShiftUp's previous gacha game Destiny Child, they are extremely generous with the pull rates and freebies. Nikke has an SSR drop chance of 4%.
Whoa, 4% is very high. What the hell? And then is there 50-50?
Which statistically averages 1 every 25 pulls.
I'm gonna
There
assume
is a
yes.
coin flip of 2% for the rate up, and every time you pull on the banner using gacha currency, you get a mileage ticket.
Okay.
Get 200 of those, and you can just straight up exchange a copy of the rate up unit from the shop. These tickets are permanent, so you can
Wait, wait, let me get this straight, because I feel like I missed something there. Every time you pull on the banner, one pull, you get a mileage ticket. So after 200 pulls, you get to exchange something no matter what. Is there no 50-50? Like, you're never actually guaranteed to pull the character, but after 200 pulls, you could just straight up get a copy of the character. But you could also get lucky and get, like, 1 or 2 copies of the character in those 200 pulls, and then buy another copy. Am I getting that right? It seems like that's the case. Is there a pity system, at least?
hoard them as long as you please, for as many
Okay.
as you please. There is the cash shop, of course, and honestly, I think 90% of it is whale bait. You
For
really
sure.
don't need any of these packages that can be bought for real money.
Okay.
Just for simplicity, I paid the $5 monthly welcome. And a year into launch, I have all but 3 units in the entire roster.
Jesus.
That speaks volumes about how generous the gacha is. Meaning, I can play with more teams, and more units
And less hands.
equals more ways to play.
Sorry, I'm going to keep making jokes, but this does actually look pretty good.
Even as a low spender, I can actually experiment and see what works, and try off-meta teams for myself. But how is it
Goddamn, dude.
possible to get that many units from just being a low spender? Was I just lucky?
Generosity?
Well, that's also partly because the vast majority of Nikke's release characters enter the standard pool after their initial banner. Only in very special cases like Summer and
Is that 2B? Oh my god, it is 2B. You know, if there's any game that could do justice to 2B fans, I guess it would be Nikke, right?
collab events will the rate up character be limited. About 90% of
God.
the entire roster you can just randomly be spooked by when you pull the gacha.
That's
so with
crazy.
the 4% drop chance, you're going to be landing new units left and right. On the standard banner, you also get to wishlist 5 characters from each of the 3 factions within the lore. When you pull an SSR of that respective faction, you are guaranteed to get one of the 5 units you've wishlisted. Again, a great quality of life to help you narrow down on desired characters.
Did they have this stuff in the game from launch?
And if that wasn't enough, there's also a friend point gacha, where you
What's
can
that?
get the currency from just sending and receiving hearts from friends, which has a halved SSR chance of 2%, but
That's still good. What?
you can still get SSRs for free from time to time. As you can see, there are many safety nets put in place to ensure you're not left without a new SSR to play with
That's
for a
kind of
while.
crazy. That
And
is
the rates are
good.
generous enough that you still get a decent amount of the entire roster,
Jesus
even if you
Christ.
go into the game as a free-to-play. Now onto the daily
I got to admit, dude, Guna elements aside, the character designs are so good.
grind. It's quite typical for a live service game to have daily tasks to keep you coming back.
Yep.
And as with other gacha games, you do have to do daily tasks to maximize your output in Nikke. Luckily,
Okay.
due to how easy it is, you can get them done in around 15 minutes, assuming there's no special event happening, and can even put the game on auto for certain levels. The quick battle feature is also present if your combat level is above the recommended power.
Oh, so if you're like overpowered, you could just clear it with one click?
You instantly clear the level without having to go through it.
That's pretty
This
good.
cuts down the grind time by a pretty big margin, and is even given as an option for clearing event stages for bonus currency.
Oh, very nice.
A feature certain other gacha games do not have.
Yep.
Certain live services
Well, Yeah, Genshin doesn't have that. It does have a very easy way to clear dailies now, though, which is just spending your resin. Like, if you build up the encounter points, then it's very, very easy nowadays.
Lose players when the dailies are too grindy. But Nikke seems to respect your time while also demanding just the right amount to return every day.
Yeah.
I think this should be the standard for future release live service games. The daily tasks should take up to 20 minutes maximum. Everyone's got other things going on at the
Bro, honestly, I even think 20 minutes is too long just for simple dailies. I think the game should have more going on than just dailies to keep you coming back. I think dailies should take like 5-10 minutes max. Maybe that's a hot take, but I think 20 minutes every day just for dailies is going to start feeling like a job.
their lives, and demanding too much time to maintain the game will just drive new players away.
Yeah.
Another way live service games retain players is through elements of FOMO, or fear of missing out.
I'm gonna assume Nikke also has FOMO, dude. There's no way. It's a gacha game.
Like limited time events, limited time rewards, limited time skins, and battle passes. So how does Nikke handle FOMO elements? Let's first go through the things that truly are limited. Every month and during certain events, there is a purchasable battle pass for $20.
Okay.
And reaching the end of the reward track will give you a unique character skin. As it currently stands,
skins in battle passes. Oh my god. It's almost as if people have been asking for this in other games for such a long time. That's crazy, dude.
If you missed out on the original run of the battle pass, there is no alternative way to get them.
Okay.
This is probably the major thing that truly has the element of FOMO.
Yeah, that's pretty big FOMO as well, but it is purely cosmetic, so...
This would depend on how much you value cosmetic skins.
Yep.
Another case of this will be collab events. In 2023, there have been two, the Chainsaw Man collab and the Nier collab.
Sick.
It's quite unlikely that these events or characters will get a rerun, but this really isn't an issue with Nikke.
Wait, so I can't get 2B no more?
But an issue with collab events in gacha games in general.
Yeah, that's true.
Because of problems that arise with licensing, it's normal for gacha collab events to never get a rerun.
Yep.
So while this would count as FOMO, it's an issue that's shared universally across all gacha games.
Yeah, that is very true. That's understandable FOMO in my opinion.
Now that we're done about talking about the bad parts, what are some ways Nikke does to eliminate FOMO? Well, every event will last either 2 or 3 weeks, depending on its scale.
Okay.
And at some point after the event ends, certain ones are added to the event archive. This is where you can still view the story and play the minigame of certain events from the past, and it is permanent.
Brother. This is a phenomenal thing that I wish Genshin and other gacha games took on board, bro. I think just having an event archive and even a story archive is one of the best things that they could do.
Meaning, even if you started playing today, you can still experience some of the most impactful events the game has had so far.
Crazy.
And because of this feature, even new players are able to catch up on the lore and be in the loop on why these events were so good. The event archive is not something typically seen in gacha games.
It's a dream,
and
bro.
It is being updated with every content patch. Genshin never rerun events, FGO does it once after a year or so, so having all the best events right at your fingertips permanently is an amazing way to treat even latecomers to the game. And I would argue missing out on story content is way more impactful than missing out on skins.
It is. Like, I'll keep it a buck here, bro. Like, the weapons and stuff, the limited time weapons that you can get from events in Genshin, it's not even cosmetic at this point, right? But it is limited time weapons, and some of them are best in slot weapons for certain characters for a long time. I think that's kind of dog shit. However, if it was a choice of being able to get the old weapons or being able to replay the old event stories, I would choose the old event stories in a heartbeat, dude. There's so much important lore in those events. One-time domains that you will never ever see again. One-time OSTs like Fischl's goddamn OST in the what was it, like 2.8 Summer Islands? Oh, bro, there's just so much that you miss out on as a player if you just don't take part in these limited time events. It's crazy.
I also want to briefly talk about UI and accessibility. In story cutscenes, you can view the backlog of recent dialogue in case you missed something.
Amazing, that's
and
good.
The skip button exists.
Nice.
There's also keyboard shortcuts on PC, so you can just press 1 or 2 on the keyboard
so you can play with one hand
when selecting dialogue prompts, instead of forcing you to drag your mouse over the button. These may seem very fundamental features to have, and they are. The skip and backlog button have been present from FGO all the way back in 2015, yet the highest grossing gacha game right now doesn't seem to know how to do this. The game will
I mean, they know how to do it.
Also give skill reset modules from time to time,
what is that?
where you will get refunded all the materials put into a unit's skill, in case you want to respec it into something else. You can also reset a unit's levels with a tiny bit of premium currency. The passive resource building up only completely fills up after 24 hours.
Wait, that's crazy. What?
And even lets it overflow for a bit after that. So you only have to log in once a day to maximize your output.
Oh,
the
that's
icing
cool.
on top, you don't actually have to level every character you get. With the synchro device mechanic, you just have to level 5 units. And everyone else placed into the device will automatically sync their level to the...
Oh, that's cool. I've seen other gacha games do this too, bro, where I think AFK Journey did this, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I am mistaken there, actually. There was another game that I played that did this, and it is such a cool detail and quality of life, so you don't spend super long leveling up like 80 plus characters, bro. This is a great thing.
The 5 units. You can also view past story cutscenes, listen to the game's OST, which absolutely slaps, by the way, and also set a music track on your main lobby screen.
Apparently the shop OST is like goated.
As with any successful gacha game on the market, getting to the late game will unlock challenge content and other modes to test your skills.
Okay.
The game may have just started out as an idle game, but the mechanics and team building can get complex,
Cool.
where late game levels will
like
demand
mechanics.
manual play and understanding of the level structure or bosses. However, unlike Genshin, there is actually significant endgame
I love how, no matter what videos we watch for, it's always unlike Genshin.
content in the form of competitive raids. You will either participate as a part of a union for the union raid, or individually via the solo raid that happens once per month respectively. It's mainly an
Oh, that's
optional
kinda
challenge
cool.
for those that are a bit competitive. There's no significant rewards even if you place highly on the leaderboard. For the union raid, you get more union chips for spending in the shop for late game upgrades.
I like that.
But even with little investments or an inactive union, as long as you participate
Are unions like guilds in MMOs or something? Is that what I'm discovering here?
in it, you will still have a steady income of these union chips. Other than that, there's nothing else for union raids other than a rank that you can show off on the top charts.
Wait, why are they all the
For
same
solo
number?
raids, you will get a bit of extra gacha currency and a unique avatar border depending on your
Ooh.
placement relative to all players.
Cool.
With a tier 3 border if you score in the top 3%.
Damn.
It's actually surprisingly quite doable if you've been playing for long.
Do you need to whale to be able to place in like the top 3%? Dead ass? Is that like a pay to win border, or is it more of a you just need skill?
As the casual players vastly outnumber the whales, though they are the ones funding this game.
True.
Just the subtle incentive to participate in raids, but nothing too significant. The gacha currency you get are pretty negligible, and you can still get something even for just participating in it. Another mode of competition is PvP, but
There's PvP in Nikke?
unlike normal gameplay, you can't control anything, so it's mainly a mode for whales. From PvP, you can get arena tickets.
Of course, bro, PvP in a gacha game, it's always going to be a mode for whales. Whales are almost always going to have an advantage when it comes to PvP, unless they make a mode where like constellations or whatever the respective word for it is in that gacha game, disabled from the get-go.
As a currency and a tiny bit of gems, which can be used to buy certain upgrade materials.
Okay.
But again, if you participate in it at all, you'll be swimming in these tickets. You do not get anything else for ranking high in PvP other than flexing.
Nice. Okay.
One of the major reasons I decided to stick around was because the developers are very communicative with the player base.
That is always a good thing. Good devs will make a good game, and that will equal a good community. Most of the time, I mean, there's some exceptions, obviously, and there's always going to be those bad apples in every single community you come across. It's just the nature of large gaming communities, and just communities in general, just people.
And they're quite generous in that regard.
Okay.
More so than any previous gacha games I've played. Here are some examples. During the announcement of the first anniversary of any gacha game, you would expect that the team behind it would be a bit more generous in terms of rewards
Oh,
to
God.
celebrate this occasion, and to incentivize players to stick around or get others to return.
Did they have a disastrous first anniversary like many other gacha games did?
Well, the Genshin community had to do a bit of trolling for them to shell out a total of 20 pulls.
Yeah.
Can you take a guess on how many pulls Nikke gave?
Oh, it's gonna be good actually. I'm gonna guess 60.
Was it 30? 40? 50? How about 106? In addition
Jeez, goddamn.
to releasing a lore-heavy 3-week event, new main story mode chapters, they also gave out a max limit broken welfare SSR unit. Now
What the
that's how you
hell?
do an anniversary.
Okay, that is a phenomenal anniversary. Have they had their second anniversary yet? They would have done, right? Was it good?
I was originally thinking, well, if they're being so generous, isn't it a possibility where they run out of money?
Nah.
Well, no,
Absolutely
because
not.
during that month, the game reported record profits. In fact,
typically, if you feel valued by the gacha game you're playing, a lot of people are going to be more likely to spend money on that game to support the game and support the company, support the devs. That's what I did with Woo-Wah. Woo-Wah was incredibly generous on the get-go, right? It was mainly like giving apology rewards, basically, like compensation. But because they were so communicative and listened to the community and gave rewards, it made me want to spend on the game even more, bro.
in fact, this was the month where they surpassed Star Rail.
That's
It's
insane.
almost as if you treated the player base well, then they will treat you well right back.
Yeah.
This level of generosity is also accompanied by their willingness to respond to player feedback.
Okay.
And here are some of the examples during its first year. We heard you like this minigame in our last event, so we're gonna add it as a permanent mode.
Nice.
We heard you were a massive Makima simp, so we made an alternative skin to remove her coat. We heard you
Amazing.
said this new character is weak, so here's a buff to make her one of the most broken units in the game.
Oh, what? They just buff characters like that.
We know you may want a
Red Hood?
specific character, but RNG has not been favoring you. So here's an SSR selector that you can just straight up choose to get a specific 5-star in the standard banner.
Yeah, that's always good.
I myself is okay
And even though it says in the standard banner, if what he said is true and most of the characters just go to the standard banner after their banner period is up, then that's amazing, right?
with putting money into the game every now and then. Because unlike the developers of FGO, I know that the money is being put to a good cause.
Yeah.
During the initial run of the first Christmas event, it was not voiced. However, 1 year later, when they added it to the event archive, they went ahead and voice acted it.
Wow.
They didn't have to do that. Yet the team seems to surprise me at every turn.
Is there voice acting in the general story of Nikke, and does it have English voiceover? I'm curious. I kind of want to try it out, bro. Deadass.
There is also a pseudo roguelike
I'll do a challenge run. Finish the game with 2 hands.
challenge mode in beta right now that allows you to enable certain difficulty modifiers for additional rewards.
Nice.
At
They're always
times, they
fun.
just randomly throw out 10 summon tickets at you for being nominated for some kind of reward.
Nice.
There is a lot of communication that happens between the team and the player base.
That's always something where I'm like, yeah, that's nice as a player, but it's also like any gacha company that's like, oh yeah, we're going to give you rewards for getting nominated or winning awards. It kind of just feels like no matter what game it is, bro, it's like not exactly bribing you, but it's like a lot of people are just going to vote for the game because they're going to get some free shit, right? Like that's just the way it is.
And this amount of overwhelming support from the players is not just something you see very often.
Fair.
And because of all these factors, ShiftUp has gained a lot of goodwill from the community.
100%,
and the
bro.
relationship they have with the player base is quite close-knit.
What's the story like, though? Tell me about the story.
When I invest in a piece of media, like a TV show,
Oh,
hobby,
God.
or game, how the community treats each other can also impact my enjoyment of that piece of media.
Yeah, me too. Trust.
Before Nikke, I tried making Genshin content. And while I did manage to get somewhere there, making Nikke content just felt more satisfying. On some
Okay.
of my Genshin guides, I pinned a comment asking if anyone knowledgeable about the meta to privately reach out to me to correct any mistakes I make. And after tens of thousands of views, nothing.
Okay.
Zilch. But when I reached
Maybe you just made perfect guides.
1K subscribers on the Nikke channel, I had 2 people in the community reach out, offering their congratulations and invitation to participate in their event. Genshin has a much bigger fanbase, but your input feels like nothing but a drop of water in a pond. The community
That's always going to be a case when you're entering an already very saturated area of the internet, though, right? I felt like that at first as well, to be honest. And I got lucky enough to grow to a point where I stopped feeling like that. But yeah, definitely, I can definitely understand where it's coming from, but I also think it makes sense if you're trying to enter an already established like demographic in a sense.
community for Nikke
Sucks.
is certainly not as big as Hoyoverse's,
True.
but it feels like your voice matters more, and word gets around faster about who you are as a creator. And it makes me feel rewarded for making content on the game. I started out on YouTube 3 years ago covering an
Damn,
indie game called
dude.
Dead Cells. Again, a very close-knit community
Good
with
stuff.
a supportive fanbase. And I was happy to continue to make content for it. The quality of my videos are the exact same for my Nikke and Genshin channels.
Very nice.
But how is it that even with a smaller community, I was able to reach twice the amount of subscribers versus my Genshin channel? The comments I get on my Nikke videos barely have any nitpick, and even when it's pointing out a mistake, it's usually done quite constructively. There
That's
is a
nice.
reason why I put 8
What did that say?
pointing out a
Definitely not on this
mistake.
video, though.
It's usually done quite constructively.
Oh, don't jinx me on this vid. Okay, fair.
There is a reason why I put 800 hours into Deep Rock Galactic.
Bro, I played this game for like 8 hours. How you played this game for 10 times? Sorry, 100 times that, brother. I need to know how. I got quite. I don't know. Just different tastes, I guess. I got kind of bored of this game after like 8 hours.
And the supportive fan base is one of those reasons.
Oh, maybe that's why I played it solo.
Again, the
I played it
community
with Doro, actually, for a little bit.
a piece of media can impact your enjoyment of that piece of media.
Okay.
For this last
fair.
part of the video, I also want to give some warnings to those already playing Nikke.
Okay.
The game is very generous, and it can actually also be dangerous, because players will always want more. I've seen some complaints about the gacha rates being unfair, but that's really just the result of being unlucky.
Yeah.
And I have been there myself. There are many other gacha games.
I would like to know, though, let me know down in the comment section here. I would very much like to know what the pity system and 50-50 situation is in Nikke. Although it's very generous to be able to, like, guarantee yourself the limited character after 200 pulls no matter what from the store thing, but you can save it up. What is the actual pity / 50-50 system? Is it possible that I can pull, I don't know, 200 times on the banner and not get a 5-star? Is it possible that I can pull 2,000 times and never get the rate up character? Like, I don't know. Please let me know. I'm genuinely very curious.
With abysmal rates. So the 4% in Nikke is already extremely generous.
Yeah.
I've seen some complaints about the grind for late game gear, but it's really not as bad as farming Genshin artifacts or materials from FGO. I've
Fair.
also seen some complaints about the $60 gacha skins. But again,
It's to be, brother. Wait, so hold on. Oh, Jesus Christ. $60. I mean, they're skins. You can do what you want with it. You don't have to get it, I guess. Like, there's no benefit other than gooning or enjoying a new visual aesthetic, but $60 is pretty fucking expensive. Jesus.
Girls Frontline has a minuscule skinned gacha drop chance of below 1%, and the pity can require in the hundreds of dollars to build up. No matter
Really?
how bad you think some of the aspects in the game are, the reality is some others have it much worse than this.
I mean, that's
so
true.
despite these,
But I never really like the argument, and I don't necessarily think this is what Psyche's saying here, but I've never really liked the argument of, well, this game does it worse, so it's not that bad. Like, it can still be fucking bad.
discussions, I'm quite content with the pace they're going.
Fair.
Shift Up had their cards stacked against them. With already so many successful gacha games on the market, they had to find some way to stand out.
For sure.
And stand out, they certainly did.
I need to know about the story. If there's any videos I should watch about Nikke's story without spoilers, because I might play it for myself, please let me know.
Can't beat Hoyoverse in technical standards.
For sure.
You can't beat FGO in brand recognition,
Yeah.
but you can treat the player base better. You can balance just the right amount of grind and endgame content to keep things interesting.
Understandable.
And you can build up a lot of goodwill and make the player base universally supportive of what you do.
Definitely.
Nikke existed in a perfect storm. It was smart enough to take advantage and propel its way to the top. I thought a lot about what kind of content I wanted to create next on YouTube. And
Yep.
reviewing the stuff I talked about in this video only makes me feel that I made the right decision.
I feel like, and this is dead ass my true opinion, Psyche, if you watch this, hi. I think these types of videos are by far your best works. I think these are so fun and thought-provoking and engaging. I love these videos where you just go over what games do bad and good. I think you kill it.
Thank you for watching. I
So
hope you
good,
learned something
dude.
new
So
or got
good.
interested in trying out this game.
Yeah.
We'll be glad to see you in
I'll be trying it out, bro. I think I'll try Nikke out at some point. I would very much like to know a little more about the story, though. I feel like it kind of just skipped over the story for a lot of stuff here. But so many people are telling me the story is super good. So again, let me know down in the comments. Subscribe to the channel and let me know if I should try out Nikke.